Alright, here's where I'm at with the roller coaster for Windows Phone. This is running on an emulator on my brother's computer. A few things to keep in mind. The emulator does not use your GPU, so it actually runs better on the phone than it does on the computer, as if it has to do GPU related. In other words, 3D graphics, transitions, and things like that. Anyway, so here's our emulator. Here's Roller Coaster. Let's go ahead and pin that. There's our Roller Coaster. Roller coaster is loading. This takes about the same amount of time on the phone for the loading part here. And here's a menu. We can create new coasters. We can go to your coasters and share. Share is basically puts a thing on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. If that you have set up to your phone, it will say, I love roller coasters, and you can edit it, and then there's a share button. More, here's where you can rate it on the Windows Store. So this is actually the Windows Store rating. Right now we can't do it. We're in the emulator. These two to set up an email to me, report bug, feedback. That's pretty much it. Eventually I want to throw in some achievements and stuff, but let's just talk about what we have going now. Let's go ahead and create a new coaster. Call this coaster Mega Man, because Mega Man's awesome. We can just put is rad for description. If you don't put a description, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really. This sort of isn't here. It looks fine. Anyway, so you have ratings. Eventually, people will be able to rate your coaster. You've got some stats. These are not live right now, but they will be. Getting pretty close with it. Eventually, you'll be able to scroll over like the main menu, and you'll be able to see everyone's ratings and all comments on your coaster. Here's what you can do with your coaster here. We can rate it, even though we haven't built it yet. So you can go like, man, this coaster's the best. Man, this fun. So you can people comments on their coasters. So you can check out the rating. It's right here. Let's see what else we got. We can change this stuff. We can edit. We can do everything else. Let's back out a little bit. I want to show you one other thing before I forget. Alright, now you go to My Coasters. You have all your coasters here. If you want to delete them, just hold it down. You can delete it. Alright, let's go ahead and edit a coaster. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already a couple minutes. Alright, so we can look around. The cart's outside the building. It won't be there. That's just it's sitting there right now. It might be an extra version of the cart. I don't know. But whatever. Here we go. Building some tracks. Going up. We're going down. Flattens when you go into the ground. Let's just go straight into the wall. See what happens. Oh, it just turned us. That's pretty awesome. We can build ourselves some loops by going to special. Like, wow, that's awesome. Super loop. Super fun. Yeah. And if somebody else is like, oh, I want to build a loop, but I don't actually know how loops work. I think loops go right on top of yourself. Like this goes straight down on top of that track. Because I'm sure someone's going to do this. Oh, boom! Automatically realizes you want a loop and it fixes it. That's awesome. Awesome to the max. Alright, so there's that. We got ourselves some loops. Pretty awesome. Remember, this isn't using the GPU, so we're going to get pretty low frames per second. Typically, we're getting about 40 when you're seeing about 50 tracks in the environment. When you see 250 tracks, it drops down to 20. You see 500, drops down to 10. It still runs okay at 10. But you have some settings here, so you can actually say, hey, I only want to look at 100 tracks. There's too many tracks here. So as you can see, the tracks in the back are disappearing. There's 2 generations of the Windows Phone. Eventually, there'll be a third. It might not actually be Windows Phone 7 on the 3rd generation. It might be Windows Phone 8. But this way you can kind of, put it to as you want. You only look at 100. And maybe you're like, hey, I don't care if it lags. I want to see my whole coaster. You can show all tracks. But I think 500 is default. Anyway, that's pretty much that. So we can build ourselves some more loops. Like, oh yeah, 3 loops in a row. Super fun. Alright, so we can build. We have another camera we can go to. We got looking around on our first-person camera that puts you on the last track. You're like, whoa, look at those loops. That's just awesome. That's pretty much it. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can do the pinch and the unpinch. Actually, that's not working right now. Something else broke it, so I'll have to fix that. I know why, but probably we'll get that later. Anyway, going to the ride. This is pretty cool. You can ride a coaster. You look around, you're like, oh, look at everything while I'm riding. Probably only getting 5-10 frames per second, and I'm only recording it 15 frames per second. So you probably won't even get every frame that I'm seeing here. So it's running pretty choppy on the computer. But this is pretty cool. You can fast forward. You're like, whoa, I'm gonna go to a super fun part. Or you can rewind it. You can pause it. Or if it's even writing and you ever hit build, it just resets it back to the beginning. Let's see. This is pretty much it. Oh, this is awesome. See, here's the finish area. You actually have to get all the way over there to finish it. But I know people on the phone never going to be able to do that. Even people on Warcraft 3 never could do that. They're like, that was way too hard. It's too complicated. So I created this finish button. No matter where you're at, it brings you back here. Even if it has to back up a little bit. Looks like it might have did a loop there. But that's okay. Even if it had to break a rule. Typically it doesn't. Yeah, maybe I should make it so it can't break a rule. Is that breaking a rule? Yeah, it's definitely breaking a rule there. For some reason it did a loop there. Never actually seen that. But that's okay. That's pretty much it. So you can ride and stuff. Let's go ahead and back up. This transition's actually pretty quick, but it takes a while in the emulator. Come on, let's go ahead and go back now, Peter. Peter's taking a little while. Alright, there we go. Now we can go to ride. Pretty much the same thing. The difference is on ride you can only ride a coaster. So yeah, it looks like it didn't like that. I don't know what's going on with that. So perhaps I have some bug. But anyways, you see where it's at. You've seen the menus. You see where I'm hoping to get with it. I do have a Windows version as well. It just doesn't have the UI at all. So it just has a little overlay. So you can use your Xbox controller or your mouse and keyboard. You can't do the special tracks unless I make a button to do that. It's really just some text overlay, kind of pretty picture overlay. There's no buttons on it. You just have to press on your mouse and keyboard. You can't click anything. But you can still build your coaster. So that's pretty much it. Probably be another week till I get it out. I was kind of hoping to get it out sooner, but we're doing more with it. And that's it. Robert 231 out.